Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. We have been doing this series of planets in different signs in the D9 chart, in your Navamsa chart, in your Navmansh chart. And it's very important for us to know how the planetary placement in the D9 chart in different houses and different signs is going to throw up certain probabilities for us, certain opportunities for us as well, because whatever placements we have in the D9 chart have to be seen in view with the placement of the planet in the D1 chart also, and not alone. So let's look at how Ketu, when it is placed in the different signs in the D9 chart, will throw up certain possibilities for us, certain probabilities for us. But mind you, remember this, Ketu is a detachment oriented energy. It is something which will take you away from the manifestation of that sign and of the house and the planet with which it is placed. So when we look at Ketu, we should look at an energy which will detach you, which will remove you away, which will take you away from the energies of the sign in which it is placed in. So let's jump into and understand Ketu's placement in different signs in the D9 charts, manifestation for us and the outcomes for us. When Ketu gets into the Aries sign in the D9 chart, what is the Aries sign? The Aries sign is a sign of energy. It is the sign of motivation, enthusiasm, the energy to go jump into and to be able to get whatever goals you want from the area of that house where the Aries sign is placed, and to be very motivated, to have the killer instinct to go and achieve, even go to extreme lengths to be able to win over enemies and to be able to achieve the results of that house. So when Ketu goes into the sign of Aries, first thing it does is it reduces the capability of the Aries energy to have a go-getting energy, to go and get and extract results, material results, worldly results. One of the reasons is Ketu is a sign of liberation, detachment, taking you away from that energy. So here when Ketu gets into the Aries sign, it will reduce the capacity of the energy that you have. So whichever house it gets into, you will find that you don't have the utmost energy to be able to excel, to be able to overcome, to be able to win in the areas of that house. And this also makes you a more procrastinating energy, which means that you know that okay, I need to do this, I need to achieve this, I need to complete this. So you may start with a little bit of enthusiasm, but midway you will find that you don't have the energy to keep up and to continue on the same path, to continue on the same trend to achieve. And because of this killer instinct being reduced, the motivational energies being reduced, the procrastination as well as not wanting to put your whole everything into that house comes through. So this is also energy where you feel I need to do this, but should I do this? And what if I don't do this? What will I achieve if I do this? So this energy comes in, and so there is always this roadblock for you to be able to achieve the maximum out of the energy of the house, and whichever house it goes into. If it goes into the 5th house, you will find you don't have the maximum energy in your romantic capability, want to do more for others, and you may also suffer a number of romantic breaks one after the other. If it's in the 10th house, the Aries energy, and Ketu is placed there, then career will go through ups and downs, career will go through detachments and reattachments, which Ketu brings in. That is the result of Ketu when it goes into the sign of Aries. When Ketu goes into the sign of Taurus, Taurus is the sign of nourishment, supporting energy, and the energy which gives you the capability to live your life to the utmost, to the fullest. That's why the Taurus energy is also associated with worldly pleasures, the materialistic pleasures, the eating pleasures, the food pleasures as well. So when Ketu goes into the Taurus sign, at one end it takes you away or detaches you from the utmost pleasures of life. There will always be one pleasure of life which you find yourself detached from, either from food, or either from clothes, or either from wearing very good labels, or either from gizmos, or either from electronics, or either from cars. Something which is associated with the material energies will be taken away from you. You will find yourself detachment, or you will not find any energy or enthusiasm to go and achieve it. There are some people who want to live it up. They want to have the best clothes, they want to have the best gizmos, they want to have the best watches. Whatever they wear, they want to have the best labels. They want to be in the best attire, best things, top to bottom. They want to live in the best houses. So this is the strong Taurus energy. However, when Ketu gets into the Taurus energy, sometimes it may keep you bereft of many of these results, or at least one or two results it will detach you from, and it will not give you the motivation. If somebody tells you that you can go and achieve all the worldly pleasures, you can have the best cars, and Ketu is detaching you from that energy, then you will not have a love for cars or motorbikes, or to travel in planes, or go to exotic locations, or not be a foodie. There will be something which you are detached from. I have seen many people with Ketu in the sign of Taurus. These people may like to eat, but sometimes they don't like to cook. So they will eat if they get their hands on something which is tasty, but they will not overeat. They will like only so much, and they may not want to, you have to drag them into the kitchen to make something. So this will definitely be that energy. However, there is a higher manifestation of Ketu energy, which means Ketu says that if you want to do more for others, nourish others, then I'll give you extra support. I will get you all the material resources in life, though you may not want to do it for yourself. So then Ketu gives you utmost. When you want to do more for others, you want to nourish others, you want to be supportive of others, you are looking at the higher manifestation of the nourishment and the support rather than the lower at the carnal level. And that is the placement of Ketu in the sign of Taurus. When Ketu goes into the sign of Gemini, Gemini is the sign of communication, wittiness, ability to be able to influence others, market yourself, and very a sharp-witted humor also. Somebody who is able to talk, somebody who is able to convince, somebody who is able to influence others. And it is also the energy of duality. This can be an energy where through your ability to be able to communicate with people, understand people, and understand people in depth, through a few words that somebody is able to say, you are able to catch what is the higher meaning of, or what is the hidden meaning of what they are saying. That is the sharp Gemini energy, and you are able to easily fathom what the person is. After talking to the person for a few minutes, you will know what the motivation of the person is, what is the person saying, and you will be able to mirror their language. You will start talking like them because you want to influence them and you want to get closer to them. You want to be friends with them. There may not be an ulterior motive in that, but you want to be friends and you are finding common ground. You are trying to find common language. You are trying to find a common area where you can have common interest also, so that you are able to gel with each other. So here, when Ketu goes into the Gemini energy, it may make you somebody who is more disconnected. You don't want to talk at length. Marketing may not be something for you, or you really don't enjoy marketing. You don't like to talk at length on any subject. If at all you want to communicate, you want to talk or communicate with people which are the basic areas of life. Not very flowery communication, not too sophisticated communication. If at all you want to talk, or you want to do something for others, or you want to influence others, it could be either for their gain or a higher manifestation of the communication energies. And this is an energy which takes you away from trying to hoodwink people to just to sell something or to get them to act in a certain way. If at all you will want to convince people, you want to communicate people, it will be for higher manifestation of the Gemini energy, higher meaning of why you are trying to influence people. And this is also energy which makes you a little witty also, but sometimes very sharp tongued. You may not want to say something, but in the matter, in the heat of the moment, you may say something which you may regret later, but at that moment it seems to be appropriate. And sometimes not always, some people may also have a little loose tongue. A few cuss words may also come out if they are not very careful. That is the Ketu energy in the Gemini sign. When Ketu goes into the sign of Cancer, what is the Cancer energy? The Cancer energy is the sign of motivation to do something for others, empathetic orientation, understanding, higher understanding of people's needs, the motherly energy, and the empathy to be able to do something supportive for people so that people can stand on their own feet. It starts from the mother itself, and then it can go into family and even beyond. And this is also an energy of nourishing of the highest order, nourishing even to the level of the soul. Ketu, when it goes into the sign of Cancer, here Ketu gets you to nourish not for self. You are not seeking the nourishment for self. or even sometime even for the family, you're looking at beyond, or you're looking at nourishment for others except yourself. So you may do something for the family, you may even sacrifice yourself for the needs of the families, and you sometimes are not able to see your own needs. And sometimes what happens is this also keeps you bereft of the motherly affection from others. You sometimes feel that I do so much for others, why don't other people understand me or put in the effort to understand me, or what do I want? Why are so many people, including sometimes my closest family, not trying to understand what I'm saying? So this can be a sign of a lot of miscommunication, misplaced understanding also. And sometimes the person may feel bereft of the love, the affection, the empathy and the understanding of not only people from outside, but sometimes even the closest of family members. However, this is the placement of the higher manifestation of Ketu, which means you have been given the energy to look beyond yourself and sometimes even beyond your family to be able to nourish the masses, the world at large. So that denotation has been given to you when Ketu goes into the sign of Cancer. If you are up to it, if you are ready to leave your comforts of the house, the home, the family and go out and want to do something for the others, a la Mother Teresa, then this can give you a lot of support, lot of resources to be able to nourish much more masses than what you may feel your reach is. That is the placement of Ketu in the sign of Cancer. When Ketu goes into the sign of Leo in the D9 chart, in the Navamsa chart, here Ketu brings in the energy of detaching you from responsibility, from accountability, from leadership. Here Ketu makes you very humble, and makes you humble for a reason, because Ketu in the D9 chart in any sign is the higher manifestation of Ketu, which means you have already been there and done that. So what the zodiac is expecting you to do is to use that energy for higher manifestation, so that at a soul's level you can elevate yourself, which means that any responsibility that you take, any accountability that you take, any higher designation that you take is for others, not for yourself. Which means the power, the authority may not be given to you, but the responsibility may be given to you, and many times you may be held accountable in spite of not getting the designation, or the power and the influence and the designation may be given to you, but you are not able to do much with it. It is like a government servant who has been given the power and the authority, and he has to ensure that things in his department are kept on the line, on the agenda, and the goals of the department are achieved. But if you look at how much did you get out of it, you will find that at the end of the day there is not much to showcase as self-gain. And this is an energy which will either make you completely autocratic or completely bereft of high-handedness or the dictatorial nature, the authoritative nature. Here the zodiac is expecting you to be able to be somebody who is very humble, but if you have to crack the whip, you have to crack the whip for higher responsibility, higher accountability rather than self. This can also be somebody who, because of the nature of work or what is the agenda at hand, may crack the whip sometimes too much for results, not looking at how it could be impacting people around, because the higher meaning of that responsibility is more important for such a person. So usually people will be very humble, people will be somebody who will not misuse their power, somebody who will not be authoritative, and they will be extremely accountable, extremely responsible without the power of influence or without the misuse of power of influence. And in rare cases this may also make you almost dictatorial, almost authoritative if you ask the people closest around you. That is the meaning of Ketu in the sign of Leo in the D9 Navamsa chart. When Ketu goes into the sign of Virgo, Virgo is the energy of being very practical, very logical, very analytical. This is a person who has to be very perfectionist if you have a strong Virgo energy, and wants to complete things to the right down to the dot, means completely perfect work without any things which have been left around, no loose ends here. So if somebody is making a presentation, they want to make an immaculate presentation with the font, the size, everything perfect. Even a small corner being left out, they don't want to do that. And this is the sign of service, serving at the highest order, helping others, doing more for others, and competing for the sake of the goal rather than for self. So when Ketu goes into the sign of Virgo in the D9 chart, in the Navamsa chart, this is the higher manifestation of the Ketu energies and the Virgo energies. This is not your D1 chart energies, which is more materialistic at a worldly level. This is the D9 energies which are looking at the higher manifestation of the soul, which means the service that you're doing it has to be done at a high spiritual level, which means you need to look at where you are serving and how you are serving. This is not to serve an organization just to make money, but this is to comfort the hearts, this is to comfort the souls of others, this is to comfort somebody's stomach, this is to comfort somebody at an emotional level, the soul level. So when Ketu goes into the sign of Virgo, it detaches you from serving for self, detaching you to serve for materialistic gains, detaches you from serving for worldly gains. So here this zodiac expects you to be able to serve with expecting nothing back, nothing in return. So sometimes this may make you somebody serving of the highest order, somebody who will not look at the time, the hour whom they are serving, but they will give their utmost. But it can also be somebody who is completely detached from service, doesn't want to serve, doesn't want to do anything, in fact doesn't want to do anything in life, wants to completely, in fact looks at what is this life for, what is the meaning of life, why am I asked to do all these things. Person sometimes may become very lazy also, is not able to push himself or herself. But if they are given or if they get attached to the high spiritual meaning of service, how the soul is invigorated through service, then they will give their whole and soul, their mind, body, soul, effort, everything at the highest level to manifest the Ketu's energy in the Virgo sign. And that is the meaning of Ketu in the sign of Virgo in the D9 chart. When Ketu goes into the sign of Libra in the D9 chart, in the Navamsa chart, Libra is the energy of relations, social connections, societal connections. It is based on partnerships, it is based on synergies of energies, people coming together to be able to manifest certain results. But here in the D9 chart, the Libra energies are about how you are able to connect for a higher spiritual elevation at the soul level. So when Ketu goes into the sign of Libra, this is about how you are able to use those connections to be able to do much more than what you have expected to do at a worldly level. So here the connections are, the deeper connections are at a karmic level. So many people who you get in touch with through in your life, the deeper meaning is there is a karmic thread that you attach to these people with, and so you need to give back, you need to do more for others even at your own cost. So here it is detaching you from worldly connections or worldly meaning of the connections, but rather spiritual elevation, which means you serve people, you do more for others. When you come together, whether in a team or in a family or in a group setting, it is for you to be able to contribute most and wait for the zodiac to give back rather than demanding a pound of flesh. So many times you will find with Ketu in the sign of Libra, you are able to do more for relations, but you are not expected to get higher results. So many times you are left with the feeling that you wanted something more out of the relationship, something more meaningful out of that connection. So usually in a family, even with your spouse, sometimes you feel that you have done much more than you expected to do, and maybe there are some threads which are missing, which you would be happy if you get back. And the higher manifestation of this is that whoever you get in touch with on a day-to-day basis, you need to bring in something which you are able to give off to that relationship, give off to that communication, give off to the thread. That is the meaning of Ketu in the sign of Libra. Ketu in the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio is the deep, mysterious energies, all that which has not been uncovered, or it is in the virtual world, it is not in the real world, it is in the magical world, it is also in the demonic world, it is under the hidden world, under the carpet, the hidden treasures, even those treasures which you are sometimes not supposed to touch. It is going down, right down to the depth of the ocean to be able to extract the pearl, or to be able to save others from the challenges which are kept in the depth. And that's why only Martian energy works here, the fearless energy, even at your own cost, to be able to delve deeper, to be able to extract that information, to be able to work with that information, to be able to fight that energy. And so when Ketu goes into the sign of Scorpio, here it makes you very intuitive, which means sometimes you are able to fathom what may be about to happen or which can happen, or you have this gut feeling that this will not work. And many often than not, you will find that if you indulge in that action, in that investment, in that relationship, later on you get to know maybe this decision wasn't the most sound of decisions, because the deeper layers of mysteries of where the things can go wrong, you have not investigated or you have not put enough energy there. So here many times what happens, whichever house it goes in, you will find sudden challenges coming in from the area of that house. So if Ketu goes into the sign of Scorpio in the 7th house in your Navamsa, sudden challenges in your relationship may come about which you don't know, and sudden truths may come out which were hidden from earlier. So Ketu will wait for a period when it will expose people, expose the mysteries, expose those energies which you didn't know. In utmost rare cases, this may also be some demonic energies which may even be playing in your lives, and so one has to be very careful, especially if Saturn and Ketu get placed in the sign of Scorpio. Whichever house it gets in, it is very difficult for one to be able to extricate results from that house. But the higher manifestation of this is that you need to be able to help those people who are unseen by others. So many times the people who are most destitute, the homeless, the most trouble, many times society is not able to see these people. Many times people will just pass by these people. Nobody will stop to ask them what your challenge is, why you're going through and what you're going through. Ketu place in the sign of Scorpio is that it is your job to be able to look beyond your worldly rosy colored glasses and to be able to reach out to those people who are unseen by society, who are unheard by society, or society has brushed them under the carpet, not wanting any association with them, not wanting any role for them to play in your life, and you to be able to reach out, do more for others, and through that connection, through the service in that area and helping those people who have been left untouched, unwanted, and those who go through some sudden misfortunes and they don't know a way out, to help those people, and through that manifesting the higher energy, the deeper energy, the soul level energy of Ketu in the sign of Scorpio in the D9 chart. When Ketu goes into the sign of Sagittarius, Sagittarius is the energy of a lot of religiosity, your faith, your belief, strong sense of duty, being connected to the higher manifestations of life, wanting to learn from life, wanting to learn from experiences, wanting to learn from connections, and through each connection, each meetup that you have, whoever you are getting connected with or meeting, through that connection you get some learning thread, some learning experience out of that. So Sagittarius energies can make somebody extremely learned, extremely motivated to know more, to connect more with people across boundaries, extremely go-getting energy, wanting to learn through deeper connection across national boundaries, across cultures also. And this is also energy of being more spiritual rather than more religious, and through that spirituality also being very liberal, very open-minded, that you're okay with people having different faiths, beliefs, and even with some very unusual beliefs, you will find that to be very fun, adventurous, and you want to learn more about it. You're very enthusiastic, you're very inquisitive to learn. So when Ketu goes into that sign of Sagittarius in the D9 chart, it is for you to learn the higher manifestation of Sagittarius. This is not the worldly educational qualification or the PhD or the research that you're doing. This is for you to understand the deeper meaning of life, to learn from high experiences. If you're going through misfortunes in your life, why are you going through those misfortunes? You're not going through misfortunes because a car accident has happened so that you're more careful of your car insurance, you're more careful that you need to do service of your car, you need to be more careful how you drive. But through the misfortune, what have you learned? What is the higher meaning of the misfortune? Where have you lost out? Have you lost out on money? Have you lost out on your health? Have you lost out on your peace of mind? Where have you lost out? And to be able to treasure that more than anything else. So if you have lost health, to be able to have the deeper sense of health being very important. If you lost the peace of mind because of an accident, then understanding that the peace of mind is more important rather than money. And if you have lost out on a conveyance, the conveyance of this life is not important. The conveyance of the highest spiritual elevation is very important. Where you are going in life, how you are manifesting the spiritual energy to be able to elevate your soul to where you need to reach. So to be able to understand that, and through this connection of Ketu in the Sagittarius sign, you are expected to move towards a higher meaning of the mysteries of life, the higher learning through those experiences rather than at a material level. Whichever house it is placed in, deep dive into it to understand what is the higher meaning, whatever you have gone through in life, through that denotation, and through that understanding, truly understand how the soul can be elevated to be on the right path toward the highest learning that Ketu is giving you in the sign of Sagittarius in the Navamsa. When Ketu goes into the sign of Capricorn in your D9 chart, in your Navamsa chart, Capricorn energy is about being very organized, very structured, very duty bound, very committed, and also wanting to connect with people to be able to do or give to others at a structured level, at a organized level, to be of most servitude, to be able to bring about an organization and discipline in not only your life but in other people's lives also. And through being able to serve others in an organized, structured manner, in a duty bound manner, with following rules and regulations, and through that being able to achieve through perseverance and with patience, and with a intense sense of loyalty to authority, also to rules, regulations. So when Ketu goes into this, Ketu, especially in the D9 chart in Capricorn, means look at the higher manifestation of the Capricorn energies rather than at a worldly level. So this loyalty and commitment is not only to authority figures for your material gains, but what are you and how are you getting connected to the higher manifestation of life, to have a discipline in life for a higher spiritual elevation, not just for worldly. And the commitment and loyalty has to be at a higher authoritative level. The higher authority is the higher energy to whom you need to be loyal, and you need to be committed, and you need to be disciplined, rather than the worldly level at an organizational level or a designation level. So here the zodiac expects you to be committed to the higher energy, to be disciplined, to ensure that on the path of serving you don't lose the higher manifestation, that you need to connect with the higher spiritual energy. So when you are disciplined, you are organized, you need to serve the larger masses, and that is your higher duty, to be able to give your best. How you will be improving the life of others through your organized effort, patience effort, perseverance oriented effort, and using that energy, whether it's been given to you through a physical energy or resources, whatever has been given to you, through that, using that energy in a structured manner, disciplined manner. Your complete loyalty and your commitment has to be to the supreme energy and less to the energy of the material authority that you find in the worldly being. And that is the meaning of Ketu going into the sign of Capricorn in the D9 chart. When Ketu goes into the sign of Aquarius in the D9 chart, now what is the Aquarius energy? Aquarius energy is the energy of looking at things holistically, looking at large masses, being able to look at the society at large, understanding your role in the society, being able to see the community, the city, the state, and the world at large, and looking at yourself as a citizen of the world rather than seeing only a community, thinking big, wanting to do big, wanting to be able to contribute big, and being very liberal and being very open-hearted, being large-hearted, so that you can give back more to your society, to your community, and if possible, increase your arm's length, increase your reach to be able to do much bigger things. And to be somebody who will also want to look up at one cause, some cause at least, where you can give your maximum, where we can contribute your maximum. You may start less or small, but you can do big. And so many times Ketu in the sign of Aquarius will connect you to that one cause which is very important. But many times I have seen people with Ketu in the sign of Aquarius being detached from the material side of the connections. These are not the people who want to lay down their hair in the pubs to enjoy, or will want to sit down with a group of friends just to have maybe a beer and to enjoy themselves. Even if they do that, they will always be looking at how can I do more for society, how can I give back to society at a higher level, how can I make myself more productive, how can I make my life more meaningful. So these people are always wanting to contribute more, to give back more. So here Ketu makes you connected to the higher manifestation of life, deeper manifestation of causes at a larger level. So the zodiac expects you, when Ketu goes into the sign of Aquarius in the D9 chart, this is not the worldly level, this is at a spiritual level which the D9 is projecting. So here you need to be able to connect at a more spiritual level some cause that you want to do more for society, whether you're doing something for the hunger elevation, or you're doing more for people's health, or you're doing something for the higher meaning of life through a more spiritual path that you take, getting connected to ashramas or whatever. But here the meaning of life is to bring some peace to people rather than just elevating hunger, which is also important, but here you are also needed to be able to bring more peace and harmony in people's life, and not just at a material level. So here people are also looking at how do I bring a smile to people's life, whether I'm helping them to set up the business, whether I'm getting them back on their feet after going through a health challenge, whether I'm helping some small family to be able to get some resources so that they can get back on their feet, so that the smile comes to their life, so that the peace comes to their life. And if you can do at a higher level, at a bigger level, at a societal level, at a mass level, so be it. That is the meaning of Ketu in the sign of Aquarius in your D9 chart. When Ketu goes into the sign of Pisces in your D9 chart, in your Navamsa chart, Pisces is the energy of being more spiritual, being very idealistic, being very optimistic, and being able to look at world with a deeper meaning, with a more deeper, meaningful, intuitive look, also almost a psychic level, and trying to understand the higher manifestation, the higher meaning of your own existence, and wanting to do more for others, having these rosy colored spectacles so that you can look at everybody is good, nobody is bad. There may be some challenges in people's life because of which they do wrong things. However, it is important for all of us to be able to look at life and to do our best. So this person is looking at an idealistic energy. Now when Ketu goes into the Pisces sign in the D9 chart, the idealistic energy moves away from a materialistic idealism into a more spiritual idealism, which means here the zodiac expects you to be able to bring that harmony in people's souls level, which means that you need to be able to bring the energy to people, that why are you here in this world? What are you expected to do? What is your role in society? What is the goal? What has been given for you to achieve life's purpose? And what is the deeper meaning of the purpose of life rather than to at a material level? If you are getting into banking sector, is it just to help people financially, or is there a deeper meaning to why the objective of putting you in that sector? If you are in the health sector, is it just to cure people of their illnesses, or is there a deeper meaning of how you are able to bring people to health so that they can do some spiritual cause? Always connecting people's well-being to a higher spiritual cause, because of which they may be doing well or going through a challenge in some areas of life. If somebody has been given more money, it is not just to help people through money and to elevate poverty, but it is also to be able to help elevate poverty so that people can then do their spiritual tasks better, so that they can achieve their objectives in life better, they can find the purpose of their lives better. And each one of them through the Ketu energies, if you have Ketu in the sign of Pisces in your D9 chart, so being more spiritual and being more accepting what the zodiac gives you rather than being complaining. So this is an energy which zodiac expects you to be peaceful in any situation in life. Always connect with the superior energy. Always think that this is something good in it for me, because of which I am going through whatever situation in life I am going through, and not look at too much of materialism, materialistic desires in whichever house it is placed, but being able to do it at the spiritual level, at the highest spiritual elevation, through the deeper meaning of understanding how you are able to contribute, whether it is through charity, whether it is through donation, or some help you are doing. And if you are able to understand, these are very, very karmic placement. This is almost a moksha oriented energy is given to you, especially if it gets into any of the moksha bhavas, 4th, 8th or 12th. This is the sign that the zodiac is trying to push you, prod you towards higher salvation opportunity itself. So if you have Ketu in the sign of Pisces in the D9 chart, understand the placement well and use the energy to more advantage and more manifestation, even at a moksha, even at a salvation level. That is the meaning of Ketu in the sign of Pisces. So friends, now that we have seen and understood and tried to understand deeper meaning of Ketu when it goes into different signs in your D9 chart, see and understand how Ketu's placement in different signs in your D9 chart get connected to their manifestation in the houses of your D1 chart, because you have to connect them both together and find the higher manifestation, the deeper manifestation of Ketu energies, the planetary energies, rather than only the holistic, rather than only at the simplistic materialistic energies that you will be looking at only at the D1 chart. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the links given below. Till some other time with some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.